views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we got a show for you all today. It is something that, fasten your seatbelt for this, Benny. Benny, are you ready for it?
Always, my dear, always.
The E word.
Wait. The E word?
E word.
Huh.
Ego.
Yeah. Right.
And other essentials. Ego. I never had forgotten what it means to talk about the ego and how absolutely unpopular that word is. It is I think it's one of the most powerful three-letter words you can put your eyes on. So what the heck is up with that? Well, I'm not going to take that on because I don't need to. I got Kate Montana in the house, and we're going to talk about the E word. This is her amazing book. So for those of you out there that are wondering, I'm not even sure how to politically correctly use the ego word. What do I do with it? But here's what I want to say. Is the ego who we are? Or if it's not who we are, then what is it? That's what today's show is about for all of you. We have one of Kate's books we're going to be giving away. For those of you who want to find out who Kate is, let me just give you a little bit. She is the author of Unearthing Venus, but the bottom line is she is someone that understands and has dedicated her life to humanistic psychology. She writes and teaches about the ego, transpersonal and transcendent consciousness, and quantum physics and evolution. Seriously? Yeah. This is who's on the show today. Been a journalist for almost 30 years, and I can go on and on and on. But what I want to say about this is, what is it about what she has now written in this incredible book that many of us are so absolutely shocked when we get to say and talk about the ego? And this is what today's show about. Get ready, fasten your seatbelt. The E word is going to talk about, we're going to explore what the nature of our personal ego is. But what the heck is it there to show us? Kate, welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
Hi, Dr. Pat. It's wonderful to be here on this rainy Pacific Northwest morning.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like it's going away anytime too soon. I want to start with the comment that I made earlier. And, it is one of these things that many of us, grow up with. Anytime, either in a conversation with your friends or your buds or your classmates or just, a radio show, we say the word ego. And people automatically put up their defense mechanisms. And we don't even have the sentence out of our mouth. So let's start with that little statement.
There's nothing strange about that, Pat. The ego is very simply our sense of who we are. It's our personal story. And it's totally based in our memory. It's based in our experiences in our life. All of the things, all of the ideas, hopes, dreams, experiences, failures, and great joys and successes, all of those things that make up who we believe we are. And we think we're a man and a woman, and we're Caucasian, or we're Native American, or we're Asian, or we're Jewish, or we're Muslim, etc. And yes, we are all of those things. And yes, those things do comprise our sense of who we are as a human person. And that's called the ego. It's our story. And it's a vehicle for expression. That's it. It's really simple. But we get so defensive about it because of the nature of the ego and how it's born. The ego is naturally frightened and defensive about its nature because it knows subconsciously that it is actually an illusion.
You know what I love about the book that you've written? I mean, there are a lot of things I love about it, and we're going to talk about it today. You know, when I decided to go back to school in, I don't even know, 94, and I was really clear that I wanted to study something in psychology that had to do with spirituality. And I will tell you, back in 94, that was a no-no. You were not going to do it. To even talk with a professor and say ego and enlightenment in the same sentence probably would have given you not a so hot a grade. But we've come a long way, Kate. And I want to ask you, you know, the time for the book you've written is now for a lot of reasons. But what do you believe is the most important aspect of the timing of the book and what's going on in the world?
Oh, holy moly, that's no small question.
Well, no.
All we have to do is take a look at who's on the global stage right now. We have, without a shadow of a doubt, and there's no finger pointing here going on and no judgment, we have the most narcissistic, boundaried ego ever as President of the United States with Donald Trump. And we have, and then on the flip side, we've got people like Bernie Sanders, the people's person who resonates with connection and compassion and empathy, and he just is bursting with oneness, you know, that message. And Donald Trump is bursting with the message of, I am an isolated standalone unit called a human being, and I have to protect myself, my sense of self, my story, my hopes and dreams and fears, who I think I am. And I have to build this ivory tower and build walls and have weapons and finger point and isolate. So we've got this amazing, amazing example of the ego right in our faces right now, Pat. And it's so up. And it's so up, it couldn't be more timely because fundamentally, who do we want? What kind of ego structure do we want with their finger out with the access to the nuclear codes? Do we want somebody who feels united and compassionate and hooked up with people and all of life, or do we want someone who is an ego who is highly barriered and insecure? Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go with the former over the latter any day. So that's why
let's ask a fundamentally, similar question, if you don't mind, if we could, Kate. And I bet you didn't know we were going to get right into it here, but I couldn't wait. Listen, what you just described, we have to ask ourselves one question, because believe me, I've been in several abusive relationships in my life, and here's the fundamental question. Would we spend a month with anyone who represents an ego that, what's the word, not quite evolved to the point where we can use ego and enlightenment in the same sentence? Would we do that? And yes, I know we do it because I've done it. But knowing now what we know and what you're talking about in the book, isn't this the time for us to learn some discernment?
Oh, we have to, Pat. If we don't, we're facing precisely the experience that we're facing right now with somebody who's highly insecure and reactionary and narcissistic, that's all about me as a leader of the free world, and with the technology to blow us all to oblivion over and over again in a snip of whatever. And it's totally possible. So we have finally, our technology has outstripped our own knowledge about who we really are. This is what I say baldly in the book. How can we expect to have a healthy, functioning, happy, coherent, interrelated, sensitive, exciting, exuberant dance in this lifetime if we don't know who we really are? And if we don't know what the ego is either, and learn how to manage it successfully so that it doesn't manage us. That's the question. And we're at the point, where we have to start diving into this whole subject, which is why I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
Yeah, I'm fired up about this. Let me tell you something. I love the introduction of the book, and I've read your book, so fasten your seatbelt. I'm not going to ask you those questions that, our fabulous Sarah has sent me. But here's what I want to say. I love the introduction because I just want to read this for folks for a minute. It says, your book on ego sounds daunting. How are you approaching it? You love taking on big projects, don't you? Then you reply, the E word, daunting is right, but for none of the normal reasons. It's daunting because it's so damn simple, and trying to explain simple to humans is so damn complicated. When we come back, we're going to talk about what the rest of that says and what the invitation is for each and every one of us that might be feeling we are lost on a planet in a galaxy and don't know how we got there. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the show. Diane Robbins, published author and channel, connects our hearts to the hearts of beings in advanced civilizations as she taps into the cosmos. We are living in important times now as we merge our consciousness with these of other realms and raise our vibration and awaken to who we are and why we are here. Learn to live in unconditional love. Visit DianeRobbins.com today and immerse yourself in the many books, newsletters, and channeling Diane has to offer.
Interested in deepening your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit www.esotericstudies.net.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Suzanne Evans. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Are you ready to start winning at the game of life? Lynn Brown, host of Get Into It, Winning at the Game of Life, is here to help you reach places and goals that you never thought possible. Lynn is an intuitive healer with a specialized background in financial healing. She combines her intuitive nature and her wholesome approach to financial planning. To learn more about her financial planning services, contact her personally at letteruintoit.com.
Are you ready for a game changer? Sarah Westall is bringing you Business Game Changers Radio. Sarah brings you leading experts, visionaries, and newsmakers who provide the best commentary on big issues and cutting-edge innovations. Sarah's 20 years as a business executive will help you think like an entrepreneur with expertise, energy, and attitude. Tune in to Business Game Changers Mondays at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. And as I said before, we're going to give a copy of the of Kate's book, The E Word Away. Before we do, please let folks know how they're going to be able to find out more about you, how they can find out where you're going to be, how they can connect with you, how they can work with you, all of the hows that I'm not sure how to explain.
Pat, it's really simple. Just go to my website, www.katemontana.com, and that's Kate with a C, Montana, just like the state. And I've got all the book information on it, all of my events, my upcoming talks I'm developing. Boy, this book has just kicked me in the butt, I have to say. And now I'm kind of divesting my own ego of my identity as a writer. And the book is demanding that I get out and teach. So I'm in the process of developing workshops, a retreat, and I really want to mentor people who really want to get in the trenches and get serious about it, their evolution.
Well,
so
let's you and I agree on one thing.
Yeah,
let's you and I agree on one thing. When you get more information about that, please contact us again, and we will make sure we help the world know about what you're doing, because there is a solution for the loneliness, the disconnected, that the people that come into my life every day and that I get to work with, I know what they're feeling is real. And I would love for you to answer this question, but it does have to do with your introduction.
Yeah.
What I would love to know is, how did Kate end up becoming the Kate of today, and what this means? I'm coming at it from the only place I could come at it from anymore, right? From truth. And truth is really, really simple. I am. How'd you get there, Kate?
That's it. Well, in a nutshell, when I hit the spiritual path, I hit it running. I determined early on that I was going to become enlightened. I was going for the big gold, brass, whatever ring you want to call it, the E word, enlightenment, because that was going to be the answer to all my sorrow, my confusion, my human vulnerability, my sense of disconnection, all of those things that desperately needed healing. So enlightenment was going to be my ticket to nirvana.
Yeah.
And so, being a type A lenient personality, I just dug in and went for it. I ditched my job as an editor for the network. I was a sports editor traveling all over the world, making really good money. I thought I was it. And I ended up living for 6 years in various one-room cabins with no indoor plumbing, basically spending as little money as possible so that I could just meditate. And I meditated my butt off for years and years and years. And then when the money ran out, I became a journalist so I could write from home, so I could meditate from home, at home. And so fast forward 15 years, and one morning I just looked at my meditation pillow at 4 a.m., and I just couldn't go there. I couldn't strive, I couldn't push, I couldn't struggle, I couldn't seek one more moment. And I just said to hell with it. That morning, I just plopped down on my meditation mat, and I didn't do anything. I didn't light a candle. I didn't do incense. I didn't put on music. I didn't do a chant. I didn't do a mudra or a mantra. I just said, screw it, and closed my eyes, and Kate dissolved. In that moment of true surrender, of giving up all of that striving, in that one moment of pristine surrender, Kate dissolved. And when I, Kate Montana, came back and opened my eyes, it was the biggest joke in the universe, because I finally understood why the Buddha smiled. There is no possibility of a human being becoming enlightened, because enlightenment is the death of the human being. There was no I left to be liberated. The absence of Kate was bliss.
Wow.
So there is no, I am enlightened, because if anybody ever says those words, I am enlightened, it's BS, because there is no I around to be enlightened, and that's the state of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Wow. But then what do you do with that? Then that opened up the whole next 15-year can of worms journey. It was like, oh my God, Pat, I ping-ponged back and forth for 15 years between being me, Kate Montana, with all my issues and all my problems and all my money issues and emotional blah blah and story. And then for however many hours a day, that would all disappear, and there would just be bliss. There was this simple, God, it's so simple. This is back to the introduction. What we are, who we are, is so simple. It is simply, I am.
Yeah.
Full stop. The moment I open my mouth and say, I am a human being, I have entered the realm of story. If I say, I am Kate Montana, human being and a woman, I've got 3 stories running. And then I'm a writer, and then I'm an author, and then I'm Caucasian, and then story. That then I have to prop up and protect that story and nudge that story into wealth and fame and make sure everybody sees that story and how wonderful I am and how beautiful, so that I, Kate Montana's story, can feel good about myself. But ultimately, all of that is just an illusion in my head.
Totally. But you know what?
Head.
I love what you've got in this book. And I read the books, just so you know. I can't quote you the page it's on, but I got to tell you, I wrote it down. And you refer to, and I would love for you to tell our listeners what this is, because if once I say this word, you all out there, listen, you're going to say, yes, invisible prison. Invisible prison. Whoa. I get it, but I couldn't explain it the way you did.
We live in an invisible prison of our own mind's making. We live propping up to prop up this story about who we believe we are. And there's nothing wrong with the ego, Pat. It's a necessary construct. It enables us, that's the whole thing. There's a lot of ego bashing going on. There's nothing wrong with the ego. It is with us until the day we die, either by enlightenment or the other method of the body dying. But make no mistake about it, enlightenment is a death. It is death. It's divine suicide. So but then we're left with who we think we are. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's how we function. But we can expand that story into a more connected place, which was my big aha. And this is my joy writing this book, was when I realized, when I was left with this whole, oh my God, I'm either miserable as Kate Montana in my story with my ego, or there is this I am. Spacious, all-inclusive, presence, awareness, existence, life. There was one or the other. And I was like, well, hell, but how can I be liberated as a human being? If I can't be liberated through enlightenment, since there's nobody left to enjoy being liberated, what the hell?
I know. I mean, one of the things you say in the book, and there's also a biblical quote, which is so important. It was so important for me to understand it, not understand it, from a very fundamentalist point of view, but understand it from a very, practical. This is the takeaway. Everything is spirit. Everything is spirit. So what does that mean? if everything is spirit, then is my ego going to try to convince me on a regular basis in situations maybe that are uncomfortable that, that dude sitting across the table from me who just spilled his coffee all over my new shirt, he can't be spirit. So this is a powerful statement, but for those of us that used to believe, Kate, nothing was spirit, we are making progress.
We are making progress.
We are making progress.
Absolutely.
It's big, though.
It's enormous. It's amazing to me that for the last 100 years, scientifically, we've actually proven what the mystics have been saying for thousands of years, is that we are all one, that life is an illusion. It's not that it's not happening. This is very, very real. But the illusion is that we're separate from one another. Because if we dive into what quantum physics has to say very briefly, is that there are no such things as borders and boundaries. A particle, even though the language, the word particle, conjures up a vision of a little grain of sand or something, some little basic building block of physicality, a particle is just waves of energy. Mm-hmm. There is no such thing as the material world. It is all, it's all smoke and mirrors. It truly, and physicists are very aware of this and call it exactly that. Schaumkommen is the appearance of physicality, but it's not physical. So if our genuine, honest to God, bona fide, scientifically verifiable state here on planet Earth is as all one entity, one indivisible, unboundaried sea of consciousness, and that we have the appearance of our separate Kate Montana and Dr. Pat and Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders, then, wow, we really are hooked up. We really are together. Chief Seattle, as he's known him, when he said, what we do to the earth, we do to ourselves, it's not just philosophy. It's the truth. Now, the whole crux of the matter is, well, how the heck do we get to that truth so that we can live it on a daily basis and not have it just be an empty philosophy, just a word that doesn't mean anything? If we can't live it, what good is it?
You bet. And, listen, here's what we're going to do, because I'm telling you, we should have booked this for like 2 hours. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to give a copy of Kate's book away. We're going to talk about this. Hold on to it. Here it is. Perception is everything. Do I really look fat in this shirt? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Kate Montana, give a copy of this fabulous book away. Make sure you know where to get a hold of Kate directly. And 1-800-930-2819. You want to get some help on air today? Is there something getting in the way of you being you that Kate might be able to help you with? Let's not prolong the agony. 1-800-930-2819. We'll be right back.
Do you ever feel as if you're working twice as hard but only getting half as far? Are you trying to connect with your path in life and finding it elusive? Mainstream Metaphysics Radio is a weekly call-in show where we harness our connection with the universe and use what is in our power to affect change for optimal success and happiness. This hit show bridges the divide between what is and what we do not know. Eve, named one of the country's top psychics, also known as the MBA Psychic, invites you on this journey for this live call-in show with readings, featured guests, leaders, and visionaries in both business and spiritual callings. So join Eve Thursdays at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com as she takes metaphysics mainstream. For more information about Eve, visit EliteTarot.com. That's EliteTarot.com.
Chris Stanis is a spiritual leader and healer and teaches a course on how you can transform your life through a meditation and healing system that will manifest your spirit's dreams. She manifested the Women of Wisdom Conference, the Women of Wisdom book, and this radio show. And she can show you how to change your life too. Are you ready? Visit the website and contact her at voicesofwomentoday.com. That's voicesofwomentoday.com.
Would you like to experience life-transforming adventures in personal expansion and world service? If you do, tune in to learn about magical innate abilities that you can develop and use to make your dreams come true. Joy Elaine is author of the Joy Chronicles, and she's inviting you and millions of others to join her in working with galactic masters, angels, and the Ashtar Command as they assist humanity and planet Earth to achieve their ultimate destination of ascension. For more information about this upcoming event and broadcast, visit joyelaine.com. That's joy, ELAINE.com.
Wow, everybody. Benny, why don't we do it? Let's give a copy of the E-word away right now. 1-800-930-2819. That's our toll-free number, everybody. So just give us a shout. First caller, love to give a copy of the book away. You can find out more about Kate. I'd like to announce it again so you all know. Go to katemontana.com. Thinker, teacher, author, and now we know I am. Kate, you and I were talking before we had to come back on, and you said something that I resonated to, but it relates to perception and what I said before the break. And you said, I wasn't going to write the book. I'm in the same place you are. I'm being asked to write the book. And I've put it off. But now it's spirit talking to me. Perception. What's the relationship between perception, manifestation, and spirit?
Okay. Perception, manifestation.
Maybe you can share your story.
And spirit. Perception is everything, Pat.
Yep.
And when we come into this world as little babies, and I talk about this extensively in the book, because if human beings, if we could get this one thing, that our perception is grounded in our unconscious belief that we are physical and that we are separate from one another, the world would change overnight. When we come in as little babies, and I won't go into a lot of detail, but the onslaught, the tsunami of physical sensory data is overwhelming. And the message is one message: I am physical. My eyes, my ears, my nose, my skin, everything informs me I am physical. And along with that is the message I am separate, because that little baby unconsciously reaches out for mommy, the breast, the milk, daddy, the blanket, the teddy bear. It's outside, and my senses, your senses, our senses, tell us this. We cannot dodge the message that we are separate. You are not me. Mommy and daddy are outside. And so we are crippled perceptually from the outset in this belief system that we are separate from one another and that we are physical beings, when the truth is, which we established earlier in the show, is we really are these radiant spirit beings, energy, consciousness, completely non-physical, showing up, having the appearance, the illusion of being individual, the magic of multiplicity and oneness. So perception is everything. And to be able to, the beauty of it is, Pat, is that I've discovered that we can train our minds to perceive our interconnection. And I'm not talking about some sort of airy-fairy, mystical, strange experience. It's just simply a reworking of how we think to align with reality, is that we really are all one. So there are a whole bunch of exercises that I write about in the book, practices that people can use to start stretching their minds and expanding their perception into this transpersonal, hooked up, we are all one place. And then we can feel secure. Oh my God. Because fear fear and insecurity are the ground of the separated ego. Because if I perceive myself as separate all the time, of course I'm vulnerable and frightened. And that's the ego's bottom foundational state. Until we begin to shift and become aware, change our perceptions, and hook up to the truth, and train our brains to start acting and perceiving the truth at a deeper level. And then all of our life changes. And I have to go back to Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders. Perfect example. Donald Trump is a perfect example of he's operating at a 6-month-old unconscious program of I am separate. And he's never bridged that illusion. He's never broken out of that barricade, that prison he's in, that he is separate, isolated, alone, and therefore frightened and vulnerable, which is why he acts the way he acts versus Bernie Sanders, who has obviously broken through that perceptual prison to some degree, and he sees his oneness and his inclusivity and acts from that. That's what we have to train ourselves. That's what we have to come to. So that's what we have to grasp and handle. And then everything will be different. God, we'll have the world we've always wanted.
Well, this is, well, let's talk about this for a minute for those people that, have been out in the world saying, you know what, I did watch the movie The Secret. Yes, I did read these books. Yes, I've done this, that, and the other thing. But here's one of the things that I love. In the book, you say truth washes away the confusion and fear, conflict and doubt, and you are free. Yes. Let's talk about this truth, the I am truth, and what the challenges might be, Kate, for people that perhaps were groomed in religious traditions where even saying the I am went against, the doctrine of the church or the doctrine of the religion. So let's talk about what you've learned in helping people discover the I am. The
ultimate separation, of course, is the separation of man and God, man and woman, and this idea of God. So that is the fundamental ground of religion. It's a ego story that reflects the ego's baby consciousness. And when it's in its cradle, oh my God, everything is outside of me, including mommy and daddy, and oh, God, yes, of course, the big outsider. And so religion is a reflection of this infantile, unconscious state of awareness that cannot see our interconnectedness because, the physical world tells us that it's physical. That's normal. So we have the ego structure based in physicality that's normal and healthy, but we have to expand it. Or it's not, and it's because it's not healthy now. We've gone beyond that. So the challenge is to be able to grasp our limitation and that ego, and not be all kerfuffled about, my ego is that wrong. No, it's not. It's just ignorance. So to start to train ourselves to move into this beautiful, connected, transpersonal state of awareness that is the bridge state between isolated ego and egoless enlightenment. But there is a middle ground that we can live and would be heaven on earth. And the challenge is to get there. And you asked me earlier what the difference is as far as manifestation and spirit. Yeah. When we're trained, when we subconsciously think we're separate, then we become spiritual people, okay? And we learn about the secret, we learn about the law of attraction, and all of a sudden, I have to manifest, okay? Because this is my talisman of being a spiritual being, and how well I can manifest. So I'm going to go out there and I want to manifest a great partner, and I want to manifest a Porsche in my garage, okay? But who do I think is going to do the manifesting? What other I do I know? But hi, I'm Kate Montana. I'm a standalone unit human being and a woman, and I'm Caucasian, and I'm this, and I'm that, and I'm a spiritual being. My illusion, the illusion, is what we think is going to manifest. Oh my God. So what we've got to learn to do is to drop the story and dissolve the ego for just a little while and take it back to that undifferentiated I am, no story place. And then rebuild the story from that empty void of all potential. Oh my God, it's amazing. I've realized, Pat, that we're spiritual, quote unquote, spiritual people have gotten lost. And I have to say flat out right now that if you ask me, are you a spiritual person, Kate? I can look you dead in the eye and say, no, I am not a spiritual person. Mm-hmm. I'm not even human, let alone a spiritual human. I am.
Well, this really points to, one of the things you say in the book, and this is really, for me, this has been one of the greatest gifts that's ever shown up for me in my life. We call it doubt. And one of the things you say in the book is ignore the voices in your head saying you can't do it or that you're on the wrong path. Mm-hmm. That right there, that sentence is, I think, one of the greatest takeaways that we can talk about on the show today. And why do I say that? Because this thing that we, in the English language, we call doubt, right, is this energy that happens when we start to, what did my mom used to say? Second guess ourselves. Now, I never knew what she meant. I mean, a lot of years, my mom was from the South, and she would have all these little ditties that she would say to us, us girls. But this one, the second guessing, I never understood it till much later in life. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, what can we do about the voices in our heads? The one that's saying to you, yeah, these two, they're talking about this stuff. That must be for them, but not quite sure that I can do it. Stay tuned, everybody. Kate Montana will be right back.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, talk radio to thrive by. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out, thedrpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
How would you like increased health and vitality? How would you like to avoid the onset of disease as well as slow the aging process? This is all possible through a simple, safe, and natural process. Every day we are either moving toward wellness or away from wellness.
Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. I'd like to be your partner in achieving optimal health. Contact me now at maryjanemack.com or call 425-392-0659. Visit maryjanemack.com.
Gifted intuitive healer and spiritual teacher Sarah Luce brings her unique style to the hit show Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in each month as Sarah turns reality on end and shows us how to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. For show details and upcoming topics, visit sarahluce.com. That's SARALOOS.com.
When your body is awakened, your spirit comes alive. Dana Canetto is a transformational guide, embodiment coach, and spiritual mentor assisting women in realigning with their truth and embodying who they are by connecting to the wisdom of their body. Tune in every month on Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show Network for Body Divinity Radio with Dana Canetto. For more information on Dana and her services, visit danacanetto.com. That's DANACANNETO.com.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
Hi, this is Leslie Fontaine, and my show is Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com. When we're bogged down with our emotions, the hardships that plague us in our relationships, at work, our finances, we literally can't see the higher plane where we could be operating from. Tune in to Leslie Fontaine, Sheer Alchemy on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Every day's not Valentine's, but you make it feel like most of the time. When I'm all alone with you, picking up pieces of my life, sometimes there's ones I just can't find, but they found a home with you. Whoa, I'm not afraid to be alone, but being alone is better with you. Life is better with you.
Hey, everybody. I'm chuckling a little bit. Welcome back. If you want to find out more about Kate, go to katemontana.com. Go to the About page. That has got to be the cutest picture. You had to know if you're looking at this picture that, this would be Kate, who Kate has become, just by looking at that picture right there. And, this is what this is about. Kate, thank you for today. This hour has gone by so quickly.
So fast.
I know. Okay, we've gotten a couple of instant messages. Doubt and trust. Doubt is one of the words that I do relate to because I've doubted myself more times than I've trusted. Can you tell us how doubt and trust figure in to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if fundamentally who I think I am, my Kate Montana show, my Kate Montana story, if fundamentally it's just thoughts in my head based in the past that doesn't exist, and it's fundamentally an illusion, how can I do anything but doubt from that perception of myself? I'm trying to trust something that is inherently untrustworthy. The ego is a phantom, and it changes. It's just as fast as our mind changes, our story changes. It's a house built on shifting sands. We are so right to doubt because the ego is an illusion. What's not to doubt? And how can we trust the illusion? And how can we manifest from the illusion? We can't. We're trying to. This is why personal manifestation doesn't work usually, or only in fragments or over agonizingly long periods of time, and why self-improvement is usually such a faulty pastime is because we're trying to vault from the caterpillar to the butterfly. We're trying to change the ego, which is an illusion, a story in our heads about ourselves based in the past that doesn't exist, and turn that into something more extraordinary. We're forgetting the chrysalis stage. That's the stage of dissolving, however briefly, and coming into that place of empty of story. Here, let me just do a really quick exercise. This is so simple.
Yes.
To get to what we can really trust. So I coach people. So say out loud and people can do this at home after the show, say out loud all of the things you think you are and preface it by saying, I am. So say things like, I am Kate Montana. I am Dr. Pat. I am a woman. I am a man. I am Caucasian. I am an atheist. I am a Democrat. You get my drift. I am a writer, blah, blah, blah. I am a Leo, blah, blah, blah. Sorry. Fine. Say those things. And then just say, I am.
Mm. Wow, that has a very different feeling, doesn't it? Very different.
Energetic feeling. For what if you can fall into that empty place for one moment, I am. And before your brain starts kicking in, telling you how stupid this is, that one moment of spaciousness, that empty presence that's everything, so alive, that's who we really are. That I am. We're right back to the beginning of the show. It is so simple. We don't need to meditate 1,000,000 hours. We don't need to chant. We don't have to do mantras. We don't have to become spiritual people. All we have to do is get past the illusion of the caterpillar state, take ourselves into that beautiful chrysalis, I am. That's what we can trust. The story is, of course, it's filled with doubt, and it should be. If we doubt ourselves, meaning our personalities, our stories, that's a very wise thing to do. So tap into that I am. And a lot of people call it tap into your soul, tap into your heart. But you've got to empty the cup first. We've got to dissolve the stories even for a moment and get to that pristine I am place. And then from that, we can reconstruct anything we want. And we're not trying to build on the old. We're not trying to change the ego into something greater. We're dissolving that story and then coming up with a new one. So that's so much of what the transpersonal work is to go into this chrysalis place and just let it all go and then create something new, because that's what we are. We are these amazing creators.
Yeah.
I hope that answers, the doubt.
Yes, I believe it does. There's a number of expressions that are really interesting or that I've learned for me. One of them is fear and gratitude cannot coexist. And I didn't understand that early on in my life, but we are talking an energy of things. And you just demonstrated, the energy of, what did you say? Simple, I am.
Yeah.
And what freedom in that. So, Kate, thank you for today. But I do want to ask you, freedom is also part, I think, of what so many people say they're looking for.
Absolutely. Oh, my God, it is so free to move into this state, to drop out of the ego, to see it for what it is, not be embarrassed about it, love it for what it is, but then expand it. My God, Pat, my life has changed. I am so fluid and flexible now. I used to have crippling stage fright, and I let it go in a moment because I simply remembered right before I was going to go on stage, and actually what I wanted to do was throw up in a trash can backstage because I was so terrified. And all of a sudden I just went, oh, wait a minute. That stage fright is Kate Montana's story. That's the past. Oh, my God. When I blew my piano recital at age 8, and when I blew my report to the whole school body when I was in 8th grade, I'm not Kate. I am. And in that one moment, Pat, I swear, all of my stage fright left, and I've never been frightened on stage since. Not a moment. And it happened that's how boundaryless we are. That's how amazing we are. That's how liberated we are. But we have to rework our minds to get there. We got to get a handle on the story and why we have all this doubt, rightfully, and learn what we can trust, and then immerse ourselves in it and live from that place. That's why I wrote the book, and I'm so excited about that, because there are techniques we can do to get there.
I love it. Kate, thank you so much for today. Thank you for writing this book. For those of you out there, if you want to get a copy of the book, go to katemontana.com. One last question here in the last couple of minutes. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today? And thank you for all that you do.
My personal message is how beautiful we are once we understand what we are and how simple what we are is. I am. If we could just begin to accept how simple and beautiful it all is. And take the time to ask ourselves the who am I question. Do some simple processes to get back to that chrysalis state. Then everything changes.
I love
everything changes. And we're ready for it.
Totally ready for it and inspired for it. Thank you so much for today, Kate. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Pat. Same here to you.
Awesome. Benny, thank you for pushing all the right buttons. And a special thanks to all of you that tune us in and turn us on. You are the best listeners on the planet. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned for Dr. Friedman Schaub.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.